What if you were born into slavery? Nameless, powerless, unwanted by the world. Could you still believe that your life had meaning? Could you transform the very soil beneath your feet into a gift for humanity? This is the story of George Washington Carver, a man who began life with nothing but gave back everything. His life is a reminder that our true value isn't measured by where we start, but by how we choose to serve. Carver entered the world in the early 1860s on a small farm in Missouri as the Civil War tore America apart. He was born into slavery. His father died before he was born. His mother was kidnapped and never returned. George and his brother were raised by the Carver family, the very people who had once owned them. He was small, frail, sickly. In a time when a black child had almost no future, Carver could have been forgotten. But from an early age, he showed a quiet curiosity. He loved plants. He would roam the fields, studying wildflowers, experimenting with seeds, learning the hidden language of nature. While other children mocked him, the earth became his teacher. Education was nearly impossible for black children at the time. Schools turned him away. He walked miles just for a chance to read. He worked as a cook, a cleaner, a farmer, anything to pay his way through school. Eventually, his determination led him to Iowa State, where he became the first black student in the agricultural program. There, his gift with plants astonished professors. He didn't just study agriculture, he listened to it. He saw possibilities others ignored. It wasn't just science, for him it was spirituality. Carver believed nature was God's canvas, and he was invited to learn from it. Carver could have used his genius to become wealthy. Companies begged him to patent his inventions. Henry Ford wanted him in his labs. Thomas Edison offered him a fortune. But Carver refused. Why? Because he believed knowledge was not meant to be sold, it was meant to be shared. At Tuskegee Institute in Alabama, he devoted his life to teaching poor farmers how to enrich their soil, grow sustainable crops, and break free from dependence on cotton. He introduced peanuts, sweet potatoes, and soybeans, not just as food, but as building blocks of industry. From peanuts alone, he discovered hundreds of uses: oils, plastics, dyes, even early components for fuel. But here's the truth. Carver wasn't trying to make peanuts famous. He was trying to make poor farmers free. Psychologists today call this kind of life purpose-driven resilience. Carver faced systemic racism, poverty, fragile, healthy he endured. Not because life was easy, but because his purpose was bigger than his pain. Research in positive psychology shows that people who dedicate themselves to service often report higher levels of meaning, even when their circumstances are harsh. Purpose transforms struggle into strength. Carver himself put it simply: no individual has any right to come into the world and go out of it without leaving behind him distinct and legitimate reasons for having passed through it. If Carver's life were told as a parable, it might go like this. A boy is given a seed, but no soil. The world tells him, "You will never grow." But the boy plants the seed anyway in cracked earth, in dry land, in hopeless soil. And when it grows, it doesn't just feed him, it feeds the entire village. That boy was George Washington Carver. His seed was knowledge. His soil was hardship. His harvest was service. Most of us were not born into slavery. Most of us did not lose our parents as infants. Most of us are not fighting against the weight of an entire system designed to keep us down. But all of us know what it means to feel powerless. To feel like our beginnings determine our destiny. Carver's life whispers to us, your beginning is not your end. You may start in chains, but you can choose to serve in freedom. You may begin with nothing, but you can create something that blesses generations. The real measure of life isn't what you take, but what you give. Carver died in 1943, but his legacy remains. He is remembered not just as a scientist, but as a healer of land and soul. He healed soil stripped bare by greed. He healed communities by teaching self-reliance. He healed wounds of poverty with a balm of knowledge. Even presidents listened when he spoke. Roosevelt honored him. Leaders sought his counsel. But Carver never let fame distract him from his mission. To serve the poor. That is why he remains unforgettable, not for his patents, but for his purpose. George Washington Carver taught us that greatness isn't about where you start. It's about what you choose to grow and who you choose to serve. So here's my challenge for you. What is the seed you hold in your hand right now? Is it an idea, a talent, a dream? And are you willing to plant it, not just for yourself, but for others? Remember, value isn't in what you possess, it's in what you contribute. If Carver's story inspired you, tap like to let it spread further. Share it with someone who feels limited by their beginnings. And don't forget to subscribe for more Mindshift Stories, modern parables that remind us that even from the hardest soil, greatness can grow. Because sometimes the poorest beginnings can yield the richest legacies.